Hey guys, Nick Rodriguez here. Just had a really interesting conversation, and it was with a lady. I won't say her name because I didn't really ask her permission. And I did want to share a couple things that she said that she might get some blowback from. So was able to talk to her for about 45 minutes, and I would guess her age. She's probably in her 50s. Is my guess. She looked very young for 50, but I could tell by her style, the way she spoke. She was also from the Soviet Union. Her husband was from Indonesia. And she was dressed very professional. She's a consultant, and she works with high level. I'm trying to keep you guys out of the sun. Sorry about that. So she works on Wall Street and big companies like HP, and so lives in, I won't say where she lives. I don't want anybody to piece it together. So anyways, that's kind of some background. But we were talking, and I complimented her on her suit jacket she had on. It had, I think it was, she said, I don't even remember what she said. Was it Hilfiger or one of those big brands? I'm such a bad brand person, but it looked like I don't know if I was trying to compliment her, but I told her that my daughters like all these Harry Potter stuff, and it had an emblem on there like Harry Potter, and so she said she gets a lot of compliments on it. So I think it's kind of it was a cool little jacket, but she laughed because of the Harry Potter thing, but I told her, hey, don't worry about it, like that's what's in right now. You look cool. So we talked a little bit about that, fashion, and we were talking about how being from Russia, that if you didn't have money, you didn't buy something. And we were talking about how in the Silicon Valley, you just cannot, you don't know where people are because people are so much in debt. They're leasing their cars. A lot of them are going backwards, $10,000 a month in debt, and they have to file bankruptcy and all this stuff. And so that brought up, she was like, yeah, every time I go into these big meetings, where there's like 50 different people in the meeting, that these guys walk in, they have like $3,000 suits, and everybody's trying to be puffed up and like peacock and look all rich and stuff like that. And so and here she walks in, her outfit is from Ross, and so she talked about that it was just a few years ago, maybe 5-6 years ago, that she would even give herself permission to shop at like a Macy's, but it was just interesting. And the other interesting, this was more of the controversial thing that we talked about a little bit, was she talked about how she feels. Now, this is interesting for me because I was in the restaurant business for a long, long time, and women in the restaurant business, at least in the restaurant businesses that I was involved with, and the restaurants I worked in, are pretty badass, and a lot of them were the bosses. Maybe it was just I had a couple of regional managers that were ladies. Actually, I want to say almost every single regional manager I ever worked with was a woman. There's quite a few, a lot of vice presidents, and a lot of I was used to women bosses, supervisors, managers. A lot of women were my bosses working up the chain. Even when I was doing some regional work, my boss was a woman. And so when I hear about this, women being looked at as like lesser than, or the boys club stuff, I can't really relate. And you guys might help me out. Are you guys in restaurant industries where that is the case? Maybe just because most of my work was in Central Valley, California. I don't know if that matters at all. I really don't know. But anyways, the point is, she started talking about how she goes into these big meetings, $3,000 suit guys walking in, and it's about 55-1 woman. So she felt like she's just basically there to look pretty. Like that's what they feel like. And she said that's fine, because she made a really interesting point that she can sit there and pay attention to them and watch them more, where they don't even notice her. And she felt like that was an advantage. But she did feel like, the typical thing you hear in the news about how women feel in the workforce. So I was kind of saddened by that. I tried to encourage her and stuff like that. But anyways, overall, it was pretty interesting. We started talking about retirement, and she was asking me where a good place to retire is. She was asking about Fresno. I told her about that. I told her how a lot of people are now starting to live mobily, where you don't necessarily have a big home somewhere where you retire at, but you have maybe a little home or a storage unit, and you travel around the world and live at different Airbnbs so maybe you rent an Airbnb in Italy for a week or for a month or something like that. But a lot of people are going mobile. And so we talked about that for a little bit. So anyways, that was our conversation. I really it was a pleasure talking to her. I was so honored to be able to sit with her for a while and talk. So thought I'd share that with you guys. If you have any comments or any input on that, are you a woman? Do you feel like that? As a guy, have you ever made a woman feel like that? Maybe you feel bad now, I hope. Also, like retirement, where do you guys think the best place to retire is? Go ahead and comment. Keep the conversation going. I love good conversations. Please subscribe, share. Let's keep the conversation going. So peace out, guys. Love you guys.